Okay, so here are some things that we completed during the 2022-2023 school year, second grade, for English. So, other than reading the Get Epic books and following some of their quizzes, we also did the reading comprehension. And as you see, it does follow the national standards. And it remained with this type of material where you would have to read and then answer the questions to see how well you comprehended it. And that followed it the entire way through. Until it got to the end, and on the back, it has some sight words. Okay, and so we also did some spelling. Okay, and this is really how it started off. This is mostly the pattern, is what I should say, the pattern of the entire book. So she would have to circle the correct words, um, fill in the missing letters for the top section, and then X out the incorrect words that were spelled. Write sentences and got a little blurry. There you go. And then write the words. Practice writing the words. And so that was basically the pattern. Oh, yes, and then finish the sentences. And then it would start over again, circling the correct word. Missing letters, incorrect words, sentences, and so on and so forth. Okay. And then we did daily journaling. And so she started journaling July 8th, 2022. And this was a daily thing where she would journal every single day, unless we didn't have school, of course. And so she pretty much filled up this entire book. So that was, let me see. I would like for you to see the progression of her journaling. So it started off with this. That was the amount of information she was providing at the beginning. And then at the end, it started to get more advanced. She started to give more details. And she actually filled up the entire journal. And April 20th, 2023 was her last journal entry in this book. Okay, and so some writing samples that she did. This year I wanted to get creative. I was trying to go with the fairy tale theme. And so I had her do a lot of narrative writing, but mostly books that she wanted to write. So she created lots of books. So Mila the Fairy, and of course she understood that she was the author and the illustrator, and knowing the difference between the two. And so this one is a what do you want to be when you grow up? The story of Huddle Pre. Shoot, got very creative. Princess Rock. Life High Mystery Ghost. Very creative mind. Super Lacy, The Amazing Party. Life High, The Awesome Dance Mystery. We were really into Monster High during this time, so that's where she's getting the high portion of it. Night Fairy. Merfish. Mila Dreamhouse, The Amazing Circle. And that was the end of that one. So she got very creative this year with her writing. Okay, so here are some examples of some nouns we did. So we did irregular plural nouns. And these worksheets were actually on education.com. Because my printer wasn't working this year for some reason, I had to have her write everything out by hand. But as you can see, she did a beautiful job. It's very legible. And we did adverbs. And this one, she just had to circle the adverbs. And in this, identifying the adverbs, she had to circle the adverbs and underline the verbs, just so she can know the difference. Okay, so we also did we also did definitions. So every time she would read a book, I had her do 3 definitions a day. And then I would have her do 1 definition a day. And so this is what the worksheet looked like, just to get an idea. And let's see. Okay, I see. And this is the whole, all the ones that she has done throughout the year. And then I have some specific examples of how it looked. So her first definitions. Oh, these are not her first ones. I thought I had those ready. Let me see. Just so you can see the difference that she had as of on this worksheet. Okay, so yeah, this is the first one. I'm actually going to put that down. Okay, so the first one, as you see, that's today's date, and then she had to pick 3 words that she did not know and look up the definition on a children's dictionary, which was online. So you see it was prancing, glare, and rivals that she picked. And so by the end of it, I was enjoying her word choices. The last one she did, So we had on the 18th ounce, the 19th canopy, the 20th savannas. So they started to, get pretty in depth. So just her learning new words. Okay, and so let me actually move this out the way. So I know last year we were doing, these worksheets. And so it transitioned from doing these to doing these. So it was the character setting, beginning, middle, and end. And then we wanted to write some details on the main idea. And then it transitioned into the actual formatting worksheet where we'd have the title, author, main idea, and then 4 details instead of 3 details. And then it went all the way to her writing it out on paper where it would have title, author, main idea, 4 details, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the bonus opinion about what she liked about the story. So I'm going to provide some examples. Oops. Okay, so let me actually flip this around. Okay, so her first one, I had her do, of course, this worksheet. And then this one, the story was called Strawberry Maggie. And so this was the introduction to her learning how to specify the main idea of the story. Or I should not specify, identify the main idea of the story. And so I have here, because we really went over it, I wanted her to really understand what the main idea meant. So her first attempt was Ruby makes a cupcake. And so I wanted her to go into more detail. And so the revised main idea, after we talked about it and really got in depth about if she could summarize the story in one sentence, what would it sound like? And so the revised main idea was Ruby had a baking contest and she won. And then she would provide the details about that. And so we did that one together, just so, she would get used to it. And I had her do this one on her own on the same day, the title Unicorn Wishes. So those were the earlier ones, whenever she first started doing the ice cream and understanding the main idea. And then we eventually transitioned into the worksheet, and this was one that she had did on her own, and she did very well. I said that she could pick out any stickers that she want, and she just covered it with lots of stickers. And but you see that it became more in depth. Spring was here, and Mole was. This is such a long time ago. I'm not really sure what that says. It's a little dark in here. Mole was sleepy. I'm not sure. I should have wrote it down on the side. Normally, anytime that I couldn't understand a word, I would, put a little parentheses and then just write it so I would see it. But yeah, so she did very well on this one because she did it on her own, and she was providing, good detail, in my opinion. And then, so this was her most recent one. This was on August the 14th, 2023. And as you see, it really expanded. She talked about the main idea about what happens with plants in spring. And then even her details, like there were some points where her details were sounding like she was writing it right out of the story, that I actually had to read the book to make sure she wasn't writing it verbatim, but she was actually coming up with these sentences on her own. um, she's very well at writing it. It has really expanded. I can give a detail. Detail number two. Let me see. Uh, Plants were asleep during winter. Spring wake up the plants. I gosh, meant wakes up the plants. And the snow melts because the heat of spring is given new life. Now, I just thought that was such a beautiful way to articulate that. And like I said, some of it I would have to look up just to make sure that she wasn't writing. I wanted to verbalize, like, make sure you're creating these sentences on your own. And she actually really was. And I was just very proud of her because she was doing a very good job at just articulating what it is that she was trying to say. And of course, we did have to work on the periods and stuff, but she did great. She was actually remembering to capitalize and ending period, even though how helpful isn't really a full sentence, but the fact that she remembered to capitalize and have the ending punctuation was just great. So yes, that summarizes basically all that we did in English. Of course, we did much more. Oh yeah, I just remembered the test books. Yes, the test prep books that I had, that also includes math. Uh, it provided the language arts. And so I have one for first grade and second grade. And she did very, very well on the reading comprehension. She did well on the text features and spelling, more text features. And so there were some things that we, needed to work on, but that was the purpose of doing these books, so that anything that she didn't really fully grasp or anything that we need to work on, we would just work on that throughout the summertime. But so I had the first grade level, and then I also had the second grade level. So, yep, those are some things that we went over today in language arts.